So, art styles. We all have our preferences with art styles, right? Some of us may like realism, some of us may like anime, some of us may like more cartoony styles, perhaps, right? But some people have this idea in their heads that some art styles are harder to do than other art styles. And like, well, you know, I think while realism definitely, it's very time consuming and whatnot, I think a lot of qualities of our other art styles are very, very understated. And so I'm gonna try to prove a point today with Exhibit A! I am someone who has this said cartoony art style, yes? And while, you know, I have a bit of a range of art, you know, sometimes I do try my realism, sometimes I do try some more realistic anatomy and things, but I still think sometimes I even struggle with doing the more cartoony stuff, you know? Because there's just like, it has its own set of laws and rules and things, and, you know, if it was so easy, then why is so much of my early cartoony art still bad? Let me just show you. So I was perusing my photos the other day, and I found these little old drawings I had. I found a bunch of little drawings I had from my now defunct, I think Teespring store from when I was in high school. I made a little Teespring shop and I made a bunch of like these Halloween sort of stickers here. So as you can see, these are all a very simplified, on purpose kind of art style where I'm just trying to like make a little bit of some cute little art things, right? I still think they could be better with their own simplicity, but you know, this is the skills I had in high school. This is the level of kind of comfortability I also had with digital art at the time, because I didn't really have a proper tablet and stuff as well. Now I have a proper tablet. I've gotten a lot more comfortable with my digital art and stuff, and just more comfortable with, you know, my drawing knowledge. So I hope I could prove to you today kind of where these designs maybe are weaker, where they're strong, because I think some of these are still like, oh, this is actually like going in the right direction of how to do art in general, but how to do this kind of simplified art style, right? I'll probably be turning these into their own stickers on my new shop, my new fourth wall shop. Ooh, so if you want to buy them, the new updated versions, again, I'm sorry, I would sell these old stickers just as like a fun experiment to see if people buy these ones more actually, but I don't have the files anymore. They're like lost to time. This is lost media, guys. These screenshots of this shop that I have are the only like pieces of existence of these stickers I have. So I couldn't even add these to the shop if I wanted to, which is unfortunate. But also, I would like to give chat, everyone say hi, chat, everyone say hi, YouTube. We got people in the chat here today, streaming on Twitch once again. Hi, YouTube. Hi, PoobTube. Chat, let's talk about this drawing here. What do you all think of this drawing, just generally? What do you like about this sketch? What do you think maybe it's missing a little bit? Maybe it's missing motion. That is a beautiful point, Wolfie, and that is the very first thing I was gonna bring up here. So, a principle of art that we like to talk about, we as in artists, is talking about line of motion, right? Maybe this guy has a little bit of line of motion. Like, he's curving here, he's curving a bit, but just something about kind of the lack of roundness with his arms here. Something about maybe the lack of kind of definition. Like, it's got motion, but it's kind of just like a standard ghost shape. It curves in, curves out, and then especially I think, like, if it was just this body, you know, I think it would be nice and passable. But these arms here, This is what really kills the motion of this drawing, I think, is these arms. There's just no definition, no flow to them, where the line of motion goes this way, right? And so these arms should try to feed into that direction that we've established, right? But this arm is just it's just so unsure of itself, of where to go. Like, it's trying to be the spooky kind of thriller hands, right? But it's just like, I'm just gonna like go down like there, and I guess this part's the arm, the kind of elbow here, and then the crook of the arm here, like just everything so unsure, so unconfident that it doesn't have any flow to it. And then this arm right here, this is another not good one. You see how directly perpendicular it is to this line of motion? Like, it itself is just kind of this straightforward mass. Again, like, there's maybe an elbow here, there's like the tip of the fingers kind of bending down, but the overall shape is just kind of very stiff, very unnatural, that, again, it just takes away from this motion that we want to really capture with this ghost. So, if we're gonna redraw it, let's think about that. How do we create more motion with such limited shapes? Because again, I don't want to really alter too much of what's going on here. I just want to enhance it enough. Let's exaggerate that more. Let's really like lean into that C shape, right? The C shape of the ghost, being like, woo, I am this non-physical being that literally doesn't have bones, so I should be as flexible and wispy as I possibly can. We really want to lean into that. I want to keep it as true to the original-ish design as possible. Again, this is all just to prove a point on, even when you're working with really simple things, there's still so much you can try to do with it to make it unique, make it interesting. So let's start with that little wispy, yeah, you just really want to go like freaking ham with it, huh? And then we'll just have that flow into there. Okay, get rid of that. All right, see how much more of like a personality this basic shape already has? How do you guys suppose we fix the arms? So I talked about how stiff I find the arms, how they kind of break that beautiful line of motion we had going for it. How do you suppose we make the arms? How should we try to pose these arms to make them better? Do we just kind of do more of that? Like, just, you know, let's just take this arm and bend it a little bit more? Or should we do something like, should we try to go even crazier with it, what these arms should be doing? I love how you give it sounds too, like I do. Yeah, it's the ooh! It should do 6, 7. Oh my god. What was I saying? I still want the face to still be a focus, right? So let's add in the face first, and then we can work around that. So another thing I'm gonna do, another thing I'd like to point out, I guess, is you see these eyes here? That is so obviously a circle tool that it's not even funny. High school me. I don't even know if this is like high school or middle school me. I don't remember. I don't need that. I'm just gonna draw circles, and if they're imperfect, that's like literally half of the charm of it. So look at that. Look at that before and after already. And we've done 3 shapes. We've drawn 3 shapes so far. We drew that body and then 2 eyes. And it's already like, look at how much more expressive it is just already. And then let's add again the mouth as well. That's just like circle tool area, and then I just added the little line there for the little cheek. Let's try something else. Yeah, something like that. Something like that. And again, do you see how it's following that mouth is still just following that line of motion there? Like, it's still following that kind of line of motion we established by just starting out very far down right here, but then like it has that upward trajectory as you're looking up the mouth. Same thing with the eyes. The eyes are angled still to follow that line of motion. They're angled to be fitting there. Now, how do we deal with these arms? It's so subtle, but look at these curves I've added in here for the arms. You see how the forearm, or no, this would be the bicep. You see how the bicep just slightly curves and the bicep here just slightly curves? Guess what that is doing? It's following that line of motion that we've been talking about. Everything is feeding into this line of motion. And even that, like how this just curves, how this curves and follows this line of motion. And yeah, we also just added more definition to the arms now. So instead of it just being this continuous kind of blobby curve, now we have an actual defined elbow, an actual defined wrist, actual defined hand that's being separated with these overlapping lines to indicate like, oh, this is where the wrist is ending, this is where the elbow's ending. Yeah, it's giving shape. We want to keep this pose similar. We want to have it more reaching up, like, again, it's the thriller pose. We want it reaching slightly up, but we don't want this just continuous unconfident blob. We want confidence. We want to keep, so while we want to round out the elbow, we do want to keep the elbow, or the inside of the elbow, the bend of the elbow. We want to keep that sharp, because that's the thing that's really helping define the different shapes of the hand, is like where the elbow is bending. Like, we could see how it looks if we round it out. It looks, I think that maybe actually looks fine. Well, I think actually, you know, I might honestly like that better, actually. But it helps that we defined it, I guess, in the first place, because now we were able to round out that elbow without it becoming the unconfident, unsure blob of like where any of the placements are. And you know, a lot of this kind of stuff, a lot of it also just comes down to like feeling a vibe. Sometimes you just mess around with it until it feels right, you know? Right, so yeah, I'm gonna call that good. No, the original mouth looks like a goldfish cracker. Oh my god, it is a goldfish. The snack that smiles back. Oh yeah. Oh, you know what this actually reminds me of? I don't remember the name of it, but it's the Pokemon that it's like on the Team Rocket team. Team Rocket water Pokemon. Wabuffet. Yeah, wait. Yeah, this guy right here. Yeah, that's definitely the similar vibes, I think. But yeah, no, see, here, we could use him as an example. See, he's like a very wobbly shape, but they still have these like bent, sharper round lines to define things like the elbow and the body shape, you know? It's still a very definite shape. Wabuffet. Wabuffet. Yeah, we'll do this for like each of these. So let's go through before and after. Do we think this is an improvement? I think so. You think it is an improvement? Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it's basically it. We took the qualities of the original and just like tried to slightly exaggerate them a little bit more to give it just more shape, more personality. I mean, it's really hard to do an original kind of ghost design because, I mean, you know, we have so many like interpretations of ghosts and stuff, but I think this is just slightly different enough, just again from deriving it from this original pose here, right? And now it's got a lot more personality, I think. Let's move on to the next buddy. Hello, Conclusion Manatee here, off stream to both give you the grand final reveal and to also let you know this video will be split into 3 parts. This video being part 1 that focuses on using line of action more in your drawings, and parts 2 and 3 focusing on the usage of line weight and the force of gravity. So if either of those topics sound helpful or interesting to you, hit that subscribe and notification button. Splitting it up this way will allow me to go more in depth with each topic for each drawing without having a 2-hour long video. And it's also just easier for me to edit. So with that out of the way, let's get to the reveal! So yes, here is the original once again. Let's... Alright, there it is! Line art, color, shading, and a little extra bonus lettering around it. So as you can see, I filled in the eyes instead of leaving the middle white like in the original design. And I mainly did that to make the eyes stand out more and add more contrasting colors to it, because as a ghost, it is already lacking a lot of that color, obviously. And now, why are the curtains blue? AKA the shading? Well, I changed the red shading from the original drawing to a blue shading because I thought this ghost looked more sad than the original, so I wanted to play into that sadness with the blue. It also ended up working well with the caption I came up with in the end, "Lift your spirits." So I'm very happy with how this design turned out, and if you like it too, you can even get it on my merch shop. Ooh! You can also see the final designs of the werewolf and devil redraws too on the shop without needing to wait for the next videos to come out, by the way. So yeah, thank you all so much for watching. Feel free to also read my webcomic, Memento Morgan, a story about a plague doctor who sells coffins for a living, all on psychomanatee.com. Links for everything I mentioned today in the description. Alright, and have a great life. Or in this case, a great afterlife, I guess. Haha.